Facebook by visiting facebook.com/Bucky Birt Show. Now enjoy the race and go Corey Blevins. This is Bucky Birt, and you are watching the CFRL Bucky Birt Show 200 from Kansas, live on Checkered Flag Interactive, presented by 24 Designs. Be sure to check out my show on the Bandit Radio Network and visit my website, BuckyBirtRadio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bucky Birt and Bucky Birt Media. Like the show on Facebook by visiting Facebook.com/Bucky Birt Show. Now enjoy the race.
Welcome live here to Checkered Flag Interactive. We are at Kansas Motor Speedway here tonight. For some reason it says Montreal up on the ticker. I'll have to hide that from you guys, but we are definitely here at Kansas Motor Speedway, where we are going to see the Checkered Flag Racing League take to the high sign here for 133 laps at this repaved, shaped. It's a very similar track to what you'll see like a Las Vegas and a Chicagoland, but here today these guys will be getting down to racing. I'm going to turn it back to Petey Zeller to get things kicked off with the running order.
Yeah, here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we've had an interesting grid, and to kick it off is Quint Carr in the 5 machine on the pole tonight. Only person in the 30.6 second bracket on his outside is a CFI commentator himself, Dalton Alexander from 3rd, Joe Lawrence. 4th, the dominant driver of the season has won basically everything there is, Marcus Lambert. 5th, backup driver this week, another commentator, Evan Pasoko. 6th to John Ross. 7th to Dennis Myers. 8th to Scott Ix. 9th to Tom Boren. 10th to Corey Belvins, and in 11th will be Corey Belvins. In 11th will be Cody Tabor. 12th to Sean Powell, although I do not believe he's grading here tonight. 13th to Bryant Ward. 14th to Michael Fenlinson. 15th to James Silvers in Round Area Field tonight. In 16th is Brooks Potts in the 97. So, folks, we are here, and they're already in turn 3 and 4. The Ford First Mustang, driven by Brett Podines, are getting ready to pull off here. And Quint Carr, for the first time of the season, is going to lead him down to green. Here he comes. The field's now at his hands as they come through the tri-oval. Green flag in the air. They're down and away from Las Vegas. Better restart than Quint Carr by Dalton Alexander on that outside lane in his 98. Trying to get it done, but already Marcus Lambert with a powerful restart. He looks to try to get up there and challenge them both, Steve.
The only time you can make the inside be effective is for the first maybe 2 laps. After that, you're out of luck. You got to get that truck up to the high side, keep it wound up here. It's really an iRacing issue. You should be able to run practically anywhere around here. However, up there where you don't see all the rubber for some reason, that's the only place on the track that has a ton of grip. So these guys diving it down on the apron through the center of the tri-oval, trying to get things wound up. Marcus Lambert looking underneath Dalton Alexander, but we're 3 wide. John Ross all the way up by the wall there. You've got the 78 of Joe Lawrence in the middle, and then Evan Pasoko on the bottom side in that 13 machine. They're going to fall back in line 2 by 2 there. The 64 will be clear. Joe Lawrence still trying to get clear as he gets around the 17 of Scott Nix, and he's going to also try to get clear of Evan Pasoko, but Pasoko is battling with Dennis Myers there, trying to figure things out in that LSR machine, and he's going to make a little bit of contact there going down into 1 and 2, as we've got Joe Lawrence in the wall. That's going to stack things up, and they're all over the place right there on your screen.
Yeah, already problem for Joe Lawrence. Hard on the outside wall is going to affect him, but the battle continues to rage on for 7th. Evan Pasoko on the inside with a hard challenge on the outside from Dennis Myers. Dennis, an excellent driver, looks to get done out here, and he will on the outside lane with that big run of momentum. And he's just letting Joe Lawrence get back involved in this. So Joe is also going to clear Evan, send him all the way back to 8th. And looking up front, really not a whole lot of changes in position. This is the best battle right now between Joe Lawrence and Evan Pasoko, battling for that 8th position. Evan needs to be careful to get back in line, because if he isn't, that 14. Oh, the 14 makes an evasive move, almost loses control of his car. The 14 of Bryant Ward is going to barely hang on to it. I'm sure he is not happy with Evan Pasoko. I think saying his displeasure over the radio right now is he's going to lose a couple more spots, so he's going to fall all the way back to P11, and now, just like Las Vegas is known for, single file racing is going to be all the way through the speedway, and really everyone just trying to keep their cars ready to battle, although right now battle for 9th between Michael Fenlinson and on the outside. Oh, Tom contact!
We've got trouble there. Everyone's going to save it. No, the 16 gets shot around Tom Bourne.
It all started with the 16. Actually, no, it started way in front of them. It started with that machine, the outside wall. I'm trying to recognize it. It is Scott Nix. He was in the 5th position, and that was not a good moment for him. He entered turn 1 really wide, and he's kind of gotten to the outside wall, and kind of Joe Lawrence got into his bumper, and he stayed up in the outside wall, came down into traffic, and sent the 16 in harm's way in front of Bryant Ward, and that's sent the 16 of Tom Board hard to the inside wall and all the way around. So caution out here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway already on lap number 5 of 133 laps here tonight. So good job. I mean, really, by everyone saving the machines, they're just nowhere to go for Bryant Ward.
And I don't know about you, Petey, but I'm at Kansas Motor Speedway. I don't know, you might be at Las Vegas if you want, but I'm at Kansas.
Oh, this is almost worse than the cat incident. Yes, we're at Kansas. I'm sorry, folks. Everything's at Las Vegas this week, so I guess I was just a little confused. But we're going to have caution flag pit stops here. Thank you for clarifying that, Steve. Outside lane racetrack here at Kansas. So great speedway we do have here, the 1.5 miler. It looks a lot like Las Vegas, actually, and Kentucky, but all 3 of them have their own different features. So we're going to get pit stops kicked off either way. Here comes Clint Carr down to his pit stall, the number 1 pit stall it will be, and I think he'll probably take 4 tires and a fuel here. Although this early in the race we might see someone take 2 tires, so as they jack up the right side of them cars, they're going to drop the jack on that, and they will take left side. So everyone here getting 4 tires and fuel on pit road. Only 2 cars staying out. That's Dennis Myers and Marcus Lambert. So Steve, oh man, we're already having a lot of strategy, I guess, in this race. Only on lap 7, a lot more than I expected.
Interesting to see what's going on for some of those drivers on pit road. John Ross, Dalton Alexander. Dalton came off with a 21.4, and then John Ross, 36 seconds on and off pit road, so he must have got some damage. Yes, he did, Petey. So tough break for him.
A really tough break for him, and as we know, it's not at all what going on to pit road, especially this early in the race. You just want to get a good stop, see what your car can do up front. You don't want to go all the way to the back, and really tough break for some of those guys. Though on the other hand, you do have a long race ahead of you here, so we will see how this race will continue to go as the green flag laps continue to poke away. Only 16 entries in the field tonight, only 15 taking the green flag. Here's Bryant Ward's officially out of the race, so I mean there's going to be 14 guys out there on the racetrack. I don't expect to see too many more cautions, Steve, and I think you've caught up with someone.
Yeah, we've got our in-race reporter Michael Finlayson up here in the booth. How you doing up there in that outside second row? How's this restart looking with those 2 guys out there not taking tires after a short run to get things kicked off?
Well, I'm thinking it shouldn't be that bad. I just took 4 tires. Apparently, a lot of the guys behind me, they fixing wall damage. That's why they're behind me. That was a close one on that last wreck. I almost got involved. I accidentally pushed Tom up in the wreck. See how it goes. Looking good so far. I'm hoping this is a good race. It's looking good so far.
Well, before we get you back down to racing, who do you have to thank for making it happen for that number 28 machine here tonight?
I gotta thank all my sponsors, Fastenal, Sensol Beverage, 5150 Energy, and thank you guys for broadcasting this race.
Alright, good stuff. We'll get you back down there. Good luck here on this restart. Don't forget to race up on the high side.
Thanks, bud.
So Steve giving our in-race reporter a little advice here, but we have a restart on our hands. So pace car leading him down. Pace car pulls off field now in the hand of Marcus Lambert. Marcus Lambert waits for the green flag here, and he's going to go immediately on that green flag as it waves, and Marcus Lambert with a good restart. He's actually going to pull away from that 33. The 33 just did not go whatsoever, Steve. I think he spun his tires, and that's really, really going to hold up Michael Fenlinson.
As we hop up on the CFI, crank it up, Cam, look at the field. Coming at you now, these trucks going 170 miles an hour out of turns 1 and 2 there as they head flying down the back straightaway trying to sort things out for position. And they're actually going to go side by side using that low line a little bit there, and Clint Carr's trying to take back the lead on the inside line. Clint, a little bit of background about him. He is one of the good guys on iRacing. Anytime you have a race with him, you know darn well, Petey, that it's going to be a good one. He's a lot of fun.
And a very quality person at that too, always looking to help guys who maybe not quite be the fastest of people. So Quint Carr right now on the inside, trying to get around Marcus Lambert. The outside line is so good. He's going to have a hard time with it. Marcus just needs to be careful to keep his machine out of the outside wall like we have seen people struggle with here. Looking back in the pack a little bit, battle going on for the 4th position. That's between Evan Pasoko and Jamie Silvers. And Evan trying to get that done on the outside, but Jamie Silvers sticking really good to him on that inside line. Jamie is clear if he can slip up, but he will not be able to, and he will lose the 4th position to Evan Pasoko. So Pasoko taking that, and now right behind Dalton and Alexander trying to get done. Oh, the leaders have trouble, Steve. Did you catch that?
I did not, but we'll pull up a replay there. A lot of damage on the back of the number 5.
Alright, I see what happened here. The 5 was trying to 96, dived in deep to the great job on corner exit, just nailed that outside wall, killed his truck, and the 96 of the Lambert had nowhere to go and just plowed in the back of him. So trouble for both of those guys. And what this does is it puts Evan Pasoko into the lead, but Evan's into the outside wall.
Holy cow, Petey! Look at that there, almost 4 wide.
I was looking so busy at the leaders, I didn't notice it, but yeah. So now, actually, I'm completely incorrect here. Michael Fenlinson is gone from these guys. This is the battle for second right now, and Dalton Alexander finds a hole through. And as the leaders all dive off into the corners here, they're all out to go 3 wide possibly. Pasoko and the really damaged machine, Clint Carr battling right now for the 3rd position. And Clint Carr did a good job with the damaged machine. Don't know how long he'll be able to do it, and he actually is going to lose that position to Pasoko. So Steve, a lot of odd things happening the last few laps.
As you see, they are still just duking it out for position. A 3-car breakaway towards the front of the field. But then you've got just a cluster of trucks. And it's hard to figure out who's got the better run. We're going to hop on board with Corey Blevlins just to take a look at this madness as they're diving up all over the place. Where is he going?
He's going to make it work on that bottom line, the 17 of Scott Ikes is. And looking a little bit forward, just insanity all over this racetrack right now. So right now, battle going on for the 4th position. That's between Dennis Myers and Jamie Silvers. This is actually 5th. So Jamie trying to look on his outside, trying to get it done here. And Jamie Silvers will take over that position, so great job by him. And now Clint Carr closing back in on this battle. I'm sure Clint wants a caution and try to get his truck fixed. Right now, though, the guy with the toughest break here of anyone is Marcus Lambert. His motor is hurting real bad, and with only 14 trucks still being relevant right now, it's going to be hard for him to get up there and battle with these leaders with the motor damage. We have a big pack of trucks here right now, and it's they're all hauling the mail right now, putting on a barn burner these last few laps. So it's been fun to watch these guys go at it. But it's really, with Kansas Speedway, you have to run the high side, and running the high side is like no other thing on a 1.5 mile track. It really can rattle with your tapes sometimes if you have to be up on the high side for so long trying to keep it out of the fence, Steve.
And while we have a second, remember this is the Bucky Birt Show 200 here live at Kansas Motor Speedway on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel and Petey Zeller up in the booth. We've got ourselves a busy week. Tomorrow we've got the MIRL at 7:30. Then we go to Spa at 9:30 for 90 minutes of the Champion Endurance Series. Then Thursday, the Upper Edge Racing Series continues on. A lot of these drivers also race in that series. And then Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go for the Sim Racers Asia. As you see the 33 get loose on your screen, he's going to save it. And then later on that afternoon, the Integrity Racing League. That's at 8:30 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have at 2 p.m. the DW12 Rose IndyCar Series. Don't miss out on that one. We go back to the road course, or actually the ovals for the, maybe we're back on the road course this week at the Indy Road Course. And then later that afternoon, long schedule ahead, the WSU Motorsports Phantom PC Cup continues on at Las Vegas. So an absolutely bonkers week here at CFI.
And it's just as usual, Steve. Always a lot of great series for you guys to watch, and the hard work that Steve puts in for this really pays off when you guys get to watch it. I mean, I know I enjoy watching some of these broadcasts. And, car to the outside wall, Tom Bourne, the 16 machine. Tough break for him, was involved in previous wrecks, so things go from bad to worse for him. Battle right in front of him, though, John Ross versus Brooks Potts. Those two going at it, and who knows who can get it done right here. These two, we know both are excellent drivers. They've represented this league for a while, and Brooks Potts on that outside line really is keeping his car clean right now. I mean, we're early in the race, but his car is already probably the cleanest car on the racetrack with the exception of the leader, Dalton Alexander. So great job by Brooks trying to keep it damage-free. And right in front of them, though, battle continues on for a second. Actually, not a battle anymore. Evan Pasoko clear of Michael Fenlinson. So Pasoko will continue to try to close in on Dalton Alexander, although, Steve, I don't know if that's a possibility, because right now I think Dalton has the field's number.
Kind of strange how this one's working out. Dalton Alexander, of course, I own the essentially CFI team, running one of my trucks, and then you've got Petey Zeller's up in the booth. Evan Pasoko, he's one of your good friends at LSR TV. The battles of CFI and LSR TV trickle down to the racetrack here tonight.
I guess that's one way to put it. So Evan Pasoko and his LSR TV sponsored truck trying to get up there right now to Dalton Alexander and his CFI truck. So yeah, I guess that is sort of what's happening right now, Steve. And Michael Fenlinson is really starting to fall off the pace a little bit. And Dalton right now, I think Dalton just has an excellent truck because he's running about 0.2 a lap faster than Evan right now. And really the fastest truck on the racetrack. And 78 to the outside wall. Again, Joe Lawrence is having a hard time not keeping it out of the wall. But up until this lap, Scott Ikes has really been about the fastest guy on the racetrack. So I think before long, Scott will get up there and challenge these guys. But he still has a long way to go and a short time to get there, so we'll keep an eye on him. And looking back a little bit further, the 5 machine continuing to fall back. Clint Carr, who we all thought would just dominate this race, appears not to be the case here, as he has all that damage. Don't think he'll be up there with these leaders anytime soon until he can come down pit road and get a lot of it fixed. So Clint Carr, that 5 truck, we know he really wanted to get a win here. I mean, his first one of the season would have been nice for him, and that number 5 Chevrolet Silverado. Speaking of Silverado, Steve, you gotta talk about this. Sooner than later, this series will not be running these trucks anymore. iRacing new trucks are expected to come out in less than a week. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Cannot wait for those things to come out, and there's plenty of stuff that's going to change with that. And I'm really excited for the upcoming things on iRacing. They've been expanding pretty rapidly lately. But looking right now, the gap between the 2 leaders is staying steady. They're running almost identical lap times, actually that time behind just 100th of a second separating the 2 of their times. So right now Dalton Alexander out in front of the field, but we are going to head off for a quick commercial break here from Checkered Flag Interactive. Don't go away. More action from the track in just a moment.
This is Bucky Birt, and you are watching the CFRL Bucky Birt Show 200 from Kansas, live on Checkered Flag Interactive, presented by 24 Designs. Be sure to check out my show on the Bandit Radio Network and visit my website, BuckyBirtRadio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bucky Birt and Bucky Birt Media. Like the show on Facebook by visiting Facebook.com/Bucky Birt Show. Now enjoy the race and go Corey Blevins.
Back here live from Kansas Motor Speedway on Checkered Flag Interactive. We're under caution here after a quick commercial break. The 17 of Scott Ikes got into it with the 28 after he got up into the wall there. Sends the 17 down the track. He's not going to get any major damage from that. Actually, I think he'll just be A-okay. He'll actually be able to go down pit road, get some of the damage he received earlier fixed, so this might not be all that bad for him. So, we're under caution here, 28 laps into this race, and guys will be heading down pit road here.
We're going to see some more pit stops here. Leader Dalton Alexander going to lead the charge in his 98 machine, and Dalton looks to get a good pit stop here. He's going to have to find a good way to get into his stall here. He has absolutely no damage whatsoever on that truck right now, despite a little contact with the wall under commercial. So he slides into a stall. Expect to see a 4-tire stop and a lot of Sunoco race fuel here. They jack up the right side of that truck, and they get all the lug nuts on tight on that right side, run around to the left, jack it up there, and they're going to just wait on the fuel for a second, drop it down and away. Dalton Alexander is going to come off pit road third. First truck off pit road was Evan Pasoko, who just had a blazing pit stop there, although there were there were 2 lap trucks, so Evan Pasoko will be your leader.
Yeah, that number 13 machine looks pretty sporty out there with the LSR colors and 24 Designs. This series presented to you guys by 24 Designs as well as many other sponsors. I'll go through those in just a second.
As Steve looks them up, he has got to remember, be sure to check out all the sponsors too. Sponsors are really what makes it happen for these series here on iRacing. I mean, it's a big deal when you get an iRacing series sponsor, and I'm sure the league owner all recognize that, Michael Fenlinson. So please just be sure to check out all the sponsors, and 24 Designs makes some really cool paint schemes, so I'll be sure to check them out.
You know, 24 Designs, I'm not entirely sure on it, but I do believe 24 Designs has a lot of influence on the CFRL's website, and if you have not checked that out, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to drag one of my Chrome tabs over here and let you guys take a look at their website, because it is absolutely beautiful.
So you guys get to see the websites here, and this is going to be really good. I mean, I'd be sure to check it out here. Steve, I think, is showing it to you right now, so you guys getting to see that. 24 Designs, really cool paint schemes. Actually, the 3 truck on the field right now, Cody Tabor, he has the 24 Designs machine rocking right now, and actually on iRacing, you do see a lot of 24 Designs machines. Sometimes you don't really think about it, but really there's a ton of cars with that you will see the 24 Designs logo on an iRacing.
Yeah, just looking at it right there, it is absolutely beautiful, and I really wish I had the time and the patience to make that look so good. So definitely head over there. You can see the URL at the top of the screen, checkeredflagrl.com. And again, this is the Bucky Birt Show 200 live at Kansas Motor Speedway on Checkered Flag Interactive. Petey Zeller, Steve Bonesteel up in the booth.
Yep, so live on Checkered Flag Interactive, you're going to see all the action here live tonight. We're closing on just 100 laps to go here in this 133 lap affair. Evan Pasoko is going to choose the outside lane on the restart. Steve, I don't know if I agree with that call. On the restart, the inside line has been better, so I think if Jamie Silvers can time down this restart good, he'll get Evan through 1 and 2.
We'll just have to see how this restart goes, because restarts at Kansas can pretty much be all up in the air. Anything can happen on these things.
And I guess he is right. That is what we will try to find out here, though. So Evan Pasoko on the outside lane going to be leading this race here, and Jamie Silver's also going to be trying to get done from the low line. Right behind them, Dalton Alexander sits in third. We know he has a dominant truck. He can get it done on the short run at least. And John Ross in fourth, and Brooks Potts going to round out your top 5 here. So here we go for the restart. Evan Pasoko and the number 13 LSR TV machine. I mean, that Chevy Silverado might not be a Silverado next week, by the way, guys, because with the new build, everything's up in the air. We're still waiting to see what comes out. And Evan, here he comes through 3 and 4. Ford First Mustang, driven by Brett Bodine, waving goodbye to the field, pulls off. Field in the hand of the 13 now. He waits for the green flag to fly. And as he has gone and away immediately on the green flag, Jamie Silvers missed a shift. And that's going to let John Ross and Evan Pasoko pull away big time here in that restart. That really hurt Dalton Alexander.
As you can see there, an absolute huge gap between those guys in the field, the top 2 with a large breakaway. And we're only through 1 and 2, but Dalton Alexander charging up to third with a head of steam, so we'll have to see how he gets his way up to the front of the field if he's able to. But right now, Evan Pasoko in front of the field.
Battle Tombs on back here. Whoa, 3 wide almost. They're just going to keep it 2 wide. Corey Belvin's on the outside is having a hard charge come from Scott Ikes. Scott Ikes, clearly, remember, he was the fastest truck on that last run. He's looking to pass these guys real quick. He's on the inside now of Brooks Potts. Can he get by Brooks? And Brooks going to hold it good up on the outside, though. So Scott Ikes is going to have to try to maintain his track position here and to just not let that 24 machine find another opportunity to get by him. And really looking at these Chevy Silverados, you got to realize what these guys are driving. They're driving these really heavy cars with extremely good downforce here, especially at these types of tracks. And for a stock car, I should say, it's obviously doesn't go anywhere near the downforce of an open wheel car. But it's just always good to see a good, clean truck race. That's what we have here tonight. Oh, 17 Scott Ikes in the outside wall hard. Everyone's going to go flying by him. That outside wall off of 2 has ate up a lot of cars here tonight, Stevens. They're almost 3 wide for second.
Yeah, we saw Dalton Alexander have to dive underneath of the number 10 as we... Whoa! What just happened, Petey? The 24 just drove through like 2 different cars.
I wasn't looking at it, but you made it sound exciting, so I'm going to go back and see what happened. And the 24 disappeared on my screen, and then he reappeared at a bad time, and everyone just kind of drove through him. It's almost like they were on pit road, Steve. Odd incident there.
Yeah, that could have been really bad if it was not invisible, but right now you've still got Pasoko out in front of the field leading his 7th lap, and now Dalton Alexander is 1.5 seconds back in that 2nd spot. So, again, the battle, CFI versus LSR TV. LSR up in front right now and CFI in second, but don't forget what this is. This is the Checkered Flag Racing League Truck Series here, presented to you by Checkered Flag Interactive, 24 Designs, and of course the Bucky Birt Radio Show.
What a coincidence there. The Checkered Flag Racing Series on Checkered Flag Interactive should let you guys know there's no affiliation there except our broadcasting rights, so just kind of an, I guess, odd coincidence we saw there, but hey, happy to have them aboard. Good racing series to have broadcasted, and if you want to have your own racing series broadcasted that you have on iRacing, look no further than Checkered Flag Interactive. Check us out on Facebook at Checkered Flag Interactive, or go to checkeredflaginteractive.net, and you can get some of the best rates in all of sim racing. I have these races broadcasted. You can see the beautiful quality right now. So be sure to check us out there. And right now, Dalton Alexander in position number 2, looking to track down Evan. Evan right now is a little bit slower than Dalton, actually. Dalton really picked it up these last 2 laps. He's really setting the bar high, and he's closed in about 2/10 on Pasoko. So as they race behind them, I got to look at the battle between Brooks Potts and the 17th Ikes. Not a battle, really, because Ikes just went flying by him and Dennis Myers.
Yeah, we saw it there, focused on that for a few minutes, and they were 3 wide all the way down the front straightaway, Petey. Tight racing. But like you said, Dalton Alexander in that 98 machine trying to make a gain on Evan Pasoko. Of course, Pasoko, a substitute driver here today, not normally running in this series. We're going to hop on board Dalton Alexander to see how it looks like from the bird's eye view inside the cockpit on the gyro cam here for Checkered Flag Interactive.
Comparing laps, Dalton Alexander 31.061, Evan Pasoko 31.266, so Dalton is quickly closing. I think Evan might not have the speed he had last run here because Dalton is flat flying right now, and Dalton's really picked up the pace as well. Got to give a lot of credit to him. Another great lap for Dalton. This time, Evan Pasoko does fall off a little bit more, so it's down to 0.8 of a second. Before you know it, Dalton will be knocking at the door, but catching someone and passing someone from the Kansas Speedway is 2 completely different jobs here. This is one of the fairly new ovals they have here on iRacing.com, and I say that lightly because I think it is about a year or 2 old. But this is, I believe it was either this or Auto Club was the last NASCAR oval they added to their roster here. So it really took them a while to get the great Kansas Speedway as Dalton Alexander is continuing to close. And I'm really glad they got it. It's a great addition. It's really the only mile and a half they have where the outside line is the relevant line. I mean, you can make it work at places like Michigan and Auto Club, but them are 2-mile tracks, so it really is a track of its own here at Kansas, just like all the 1.5 milers. I mean, everyone says they look very similar, Steve, but no 1.5 miler is the same. Texas has its own attributes along with Charlotte, Atlanta. I mean, all of these 1.5 milers, I can't think of 2 that are similar. They all have different driving styles to go along with them.
That gap continues to close up at the front of the field. You see that 98 hauling the mail there. I don't know about you, but that looks like a UPS priority package. That CFI machine is moving up there, and I know you guys probably laughing at my cheesy jokes up here, and that's nothing new. Steve Bonesteel and his cheesy jokes, pretty dry humor, I'd say, but it's looking pretty solid up in the front of the field. We've had ourselves a great race, and we're 3 wide almost again.
Yeah, it's almost like when your grandfather makes that joke and you're forced to laugh, Steve. Just messing with you there, but these guys battling for the 3rd position now. John Ross on that outside, trying to get done as Jamie Silvers and his virtually spotless machine, trying to find a way around him for the 3rd position. Again, just keeping you updated on the battle for the lead. Dalton Alexander continuing to close as the lap times fall off, only half a second behind Pasoko now. And really right now, there's this big hornet's nest behind them continues to rage on. Michael Femlinson battling hard with that 17 of Scott Ikes, and Quint Carr now trying to become a factor in this car to the outside of the number 17 entry. Quint Carr, remember, he probably had the fastest truck here till he got all that damage, so that was a really tough break for him, but he's continuing to fight on. Despite him being 2 laps down, we only have 12 guys left in this race. Actually, no, 11, because Cody Tulor just left. So we just have 11 trucks left in this race. They're really putting on one heck of a show here, and I mean, really, it's been kind of fun to watch these cars go around this track, because through the tri-oval, it's almost, especially at Kansas, I don't know, as the battle continues to rage on for 3rd, I want to keep you updated on that. But at Kansas, this is one of them tracks where almost, whenever you fly through the tri-oval, if any of you have done iRacing, you know what I mean, where your car feels like a fat guy sat on the left side of your truck and your car just drifted sideways. It does that in this tri-oval here, and it's one of them. I can never drive this place, Steve, just due to that feeling. I mean, sometimes you get a Daytona too, but it's one of them tracks where the tri-oval is tricky, especially using that apron. You can get so loose.
Yeah, a fat guy, you know, a.k.a. Steve Bonesteel, sat on the side of your truck there. That's why all these guys got some of that side damage, man. I can only stand for so long before I start to get tired here. So we still got a hornet's nest there on your screen. Finlayson out on the outside there to get that top 5 position back. Now Ike's on the inside line. He's going to drop back up in front of Clint Carr, and then Clint's going to go down the bottom side there, try to make something happen. However, that is not for position, so that 24 design Silverado, while he is fighting hard for that position, it's not going to go to anywhere. He also presented to you by Bucky Birt Radio. That is also sitting on the truck, so they are duking it out over there, and they're making it look good at least, as things are not changed up front. However, for that 3rd position, they are now 7.5, almost 8 seconds back now from the 2 leaders. Evan Pasoko and Dalton Alexander are so far away from the field right now that they could take, I don't even know, they could take 4 tires on pit road and everybody else take just 2. and they would still come out in front of the field. So that's very impressive out in front of the field right now. As the number 64, John Ross, he has James Silvers in the Dollar General truck right behind him, looking pretty sporty still.
Yeah, and Pasoko now pulling away a little bit from Alexander, although I think on fresher tires, Alexander is the better truck, but when they get a little more worn in, Pasoko just seems to have a handle on it. So right now, no battles for position, side-by-side battle right now between Fenlinson and Clint Carr. That is for no position, but Carr, I think, is just trying to unlap himself maybe, trying to fly through this field, and right now he is flat flying. Great job to him. You just got to look at this. I mean, right now, he's doing a good job on the inside, better than we've seen a lot of people do. And I think Evan Pasoko may have just got loose or something, because I'm seeing Dalton Alexander way closer to Pasoko than he was the last time by. So Alexander in that CFI machine continuing to close. This is going to be a good battle in the upcoming laps here. I think if it wasn't for that restart, Steve, they would have been on top of each other for this whole run.
Yep, just taking a look, that gap has shrunk significantly, and we've got trouble.
It's a big one. There's about 3 or 4 cars around, and that's about half the field right now. That's a big, significant wreck. It all started with Jamie Silvers, just like the last one and the one before that. Jamie Silvers in the outside wall, and nowhere to go for Fenlinson. Had to come down across Jamie Silvers, collecting Clint Carr and the 17 there. So 4 trucks involved, Scott Ikes being the 17. Dennis Myers barely missing that one. So a 4-truck wreck here, and that's going to bring out the caution here from the Kansas Motor Speedway.
Replays up on your screen as we hop on board with Clint Carr. You can see up on the horizon in the wall, and he's just nowhere to go. He gets caught up in it, and unfortunately multiple drivers do, and that's going to damage those 5 trucks pretty significantly, and that's going to shrink the field, at least in competition size, considerably.
And that really will there. So we're going to see what happens under caution flag pit stops here. Steve, expect to see everyone come down pit road. It was a decent sized run. So here comes Evan Pasoko leading him down. Dalton Alexander getting right up on his bumper as they come down here. And so Pasoko is going to lead him down that 13 machine, lucky number 13 I should say. We will see if he can get a fast pit stop and do what he did the last time leave pit road, or maybe the luck will go in the hands of Dalton Alexander. Pit crews on iRacing are a big shake-up here. You don't control them. They're all the same, but some work faster than others. It just really is one of the things that doesn't make sense, but it does. So we'll see which pit crew here blesses which driver. So Evan Pasoko into his stall. He is taking the right side tires on that truck, and we will see if they go around, put left sides on. I would expect to after a long run like that, as they will. So now Dalton Alexander directly in front of him is getting his left sides on as Pasoko's down and away. Dalton still has the jack up. Now Dalton's down and away. Is Dalton even going to get off second? No, he will not. He will lose 1 position to John Ross, who is probably the best pit crew here tonight. They've gained him so many spots on pit road so far.
Hey, Petey, I'll be right back. I got to head down to that pit stall, and I got to give them a stern talking. I'm not paying them 2 hot dogs and french fries after the race for them to be so slow like that. But real quick, while we're under caution, we're going to head off for a quick commercial break. Let you guys take a look at the videos for the sponsors. Do not go away. We've got the second half of this race in just a moment.
This is Bucky Birt, and you are watching the CFRL Bucky Birt Show 200 from Kansas, live on Checkered Flag Interactive, presented by 24 Designs. Be sure to check out my show on the Bandit Radio Network and visit my website, BuckyBirtRadio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bucky Birt and Bucky Birt Media. Like the show on Facebook.
We're back live here on Checkered Flag Interactive for the Checkered Flag Racing Series. Up in the booth tonight is myself, PDJ Zeller, alongside Steve Bonesteel. And Steve, a great job so far up to this point in the race by the guys. We're on lap number 53, I believe, no, 54 out of 133. I hope it's not 200. And Evan Pasoko once again choosing that outside line for the restart. We'll see what Pasoko can get done there as they quickly close in on halfway. Maybe Pasoko can get another great restart up high.
I don't know, Petey, that number 98, my truck looks pretty sporty. I put some good NOS in that machine, so when he's feeling it, he can just press that big red button and shoot around that outside. We all know that that's not how it works here in iRacing, but we are set and ready for the restart. Evan Pasoko, of course, choosing that outside line, but Dalton Alexander might try to make something happen on the inside. We'll just have to see how it goes here as the green flag is up in the air. We are racing once again. Great start for Evan Pasoko, and he's got the bird poop scratches up on his roof there. He has not flipped over, guys. He's just got some weird glitch where iRacing decides to give you scratches on your roof just to do so.
Evan Pasoko, or as we like to call him, Evan Paso-Slow, he's the mean Canadian. That's right, he uses a hockey stick for his shifter knob here, and doing a great job getting through the gears, though. I mean, it must be hard using a hockey stick. I can't imagine they have the greatest grip in the world, but Pasoko doing a great job with it, and right now behind him comes Dalton Alexander with that NOS button. Two special features that those cars have that no one else in the field has, and John Ross looks in back from third. And this time on the restart, Steve, I'm really interested to see what Dalton can do. Dalton, he restarted in the second position, and this time he's going to be right with Pasoko. Didn't have anyone holding him up, so he'll be able to challenge him. Pasoko already in lap traffic here. John Ike's going to give way on the outside, I think. No, John Ikes is going to fight back, although I don't know how long it will last. Hopefully he doesn't hold up the second place truck or the first place truck too much, although I think that's exactly what he's doing. I don't quite know what's the deal with John Ikes right now, but I think he's trying to get in the way of the leaders, but he's not doing a good job, because here comes Dalton Alexander right on the bumper of Evan Pasoko, and they're about to duel for the lead, I think.
Yeah, that 98 has been so strong here tonight, and just gotta give a shout out to Dalton, because he's one of those guys that just always has awful luck when it comes to iRacing, and especially broadcasted races. It seems like every time we have a broadcast with him in it, he's always getting wrecked by someone. And then we look back to that second place driver, the third place driver, and they are fighting it out there. John Ross, Dennis Myers, James Silvers, all on your screen there. And then you've got the lap down car of Scott Ikes. He's trying to get out of the way, well, potentially get out of the way at least. And it looks like we've got ourselves a pretty sporty battle there. And then looking all the way back, Brooks Potts has no damage on that machine, that United Steelworkers number 97 that I can see. However, he is pretty far back there. And then the number 24 of Corey Blevlins, he's looking pretty sporty, but that machine's so beat up that he's not able to get that full speed up out of it as they continue to battle for second place, and they're actually almost going to go side by side. And then looking back up to the field, Dalton Alexander has about half of a second to gap down on Petey, but Petey got the wall Evan got the wall a little bit there. It's really hard, because I work with Evan on Sundays, and I work with you all the other times, and it's hard.
Yeah, I just gotta remember, me and Evan are actually, it's funny because me and Evan both originate from similar areas. He's from the Toronto area and I'm from the Buffalo area, and despite two different countries, it's only like an hour in distance, so me and Evan probably have similar accents to ourselves. I mean, I don't normally listen to myself, and I don't assume Evan listens to himself, but I'm sure they're somewhat near each other. So Evan right now in the lead, getting tracked down by Dalton Alexander, and Dalton is quickly closing on that number 13's bumper here, and whenever he gets there, it's just a matter of how and where will he make his move. I think Pasoko's taking a little bit of a higher line right now, as Dalton's trying to get closer to the middle of the racetrack, and it's really working well for Dalton right now. So as he gets up to the bumper of Evan Pasoko, when and where will he make his move? And I think he's about to get stuck to that bumper of Pasoko real quick, because I don't know how he's going to make the pass. I think he's probably, knowing Dalton, I think he might just ride there for a little while and see what he can do.
Well, actually, Dalton's having issues currently. I don't believe he was able to get tires or fuel under that last pit stop. He's having issues with his controls. I'm actually having to jump in as his crew chief right now on our second computer, because he's got the iRacing glitch where he cannot change any of his settings.
I don't know how he's running such good lap times right now, though. I think he might have got some sort of service right now, because he's running pretty good lap times here, although Dalton doing an impressive job for not being able to do anything. And right now, he's continuing to try to close in on Evan. Evan, we know, has been fast this race, but right now, behind them, the battle continues to rage on for the 4th position. On the inside goes that 10 entry. James Silver's trying to get done here for John Ross. John Ross on the outside going to try to make it a side-by-side battle for the 4th position here, as he will. John Ross with a lot of damage, keeping his truck competent here, as these two go door-to-door, toe-to-toe, man-to-man. I mean, right now, these guys are going at it really well, and clear goes Jamie Silvers, but a crossover possibly? No. John Ross will try to make a crossover, because Jamie Silvers almost goes into the wall there, so we'll give the position right back to John Ross, and he's now going to try to close in on Dennis Myers in 3rd. Now, right now, that number 98 is running significantly faster lap times than Pasoko. Compare a 1 to a 3 that last time by, and that's what you get. And this time by, Pasoko a little faster. So they're going back and forth. It's kind of like a teeter-totter. One goes up, the other goes down, and that's what's happening right now. Their lap times are kind of teetering right now.
That's really how a lot of racetracks in similar fashion of Kansas Motor Speedway, that's really how it goes, especially here, one of the rare tracks where you actually get to run the high side.
So a track like this is a very unique. Not a whole lot of them on the iRacing servers. This time by, their lap times are just about equal Pasoko with about a hair on Dalton, so that's what's happening there. Now back to the battle for 4th. John Ross with James Silver right back on his bumper here. James is all got tight again. He's going to lose all that ground he had just made up, and he's going to try to track him down again. And right now, looking at this battle up front, Dalton Alexander is not getting the job done right now. Pasoko is continuing to pull away. If this race were to go green, I do believe we would see one green flag pit stop from this point on, so that could be a factor. But I do believe we might see another caution. Still 11 trucks out there, 9 in the lead lap, and that's really the kind of deal of what's going on here. So Pasoko now just looking to get the job done out here out front, but right behind him, Alexander, I do believe, will close in, and I really think Alexander is a better truck for about 10 to 15 laps, but after that, it just goes all in the Pasoko's favor here. It's a tight line to walk on, but there is a difference, and we haven't seen a really long run yet, so who knows, maybe Alexander's truck picks the speed back up after a very long run.
Looking back, we've got Blevlins and Bourne side by side there. Bourne's an Upper Edge Racing League veteran, and then of course Blevlins making an appearance here in the CFRL Truck Series and more. And they're doing a solid job. They're the last running trucks left in the field here tonight. And they are looking sporty, and they almost make some contact there as that number 24 is pretty beat up.
Yeah, really beat up right now is that number 16. He was involved in our first caution of the race. That was kind of an odd caution, but did collect him and took him out of the event. So Tom Bourne now running in the 8th position. A good recovery for him. Speaking of good recoveries right now, Pasoko, after that early run mistake, is now really pulling away from Dalton Alexander. I mean, Dalton did have a little faster lap this last time by, but I do believe Evan is going to have a better lap this time. Just looking at the distance in the trucks, it looks like it might be growing a little bit, although this is an odd battle up here as these two continue to keep closing back in on each other. It's like one can't get away from the other. Now back here to the battle for 4th. That's really calmed down. James Silvers hasn't been able to do a whole lot with James Ross as of late. So right now, John Ross...
Pasoko's in the wall!
Oh, and that's going to give the lead to Dalton Alexander. So after being stuck to his bumper like stitches on a baseball for about 50 laps, Dalton Alexander through to the lead.
And you saw it there, we were riding on the right front side of his truck. He just got a little too high, the back end tapped it, and then the front end followed. And just like that, give a second gap to Dalton Alexander. He's in the catbird seat now.
He is 70 laps into this 133 lap affair. Great move by Dalton Alexander to miss that Pasoko machine wall, and Pasoko is hurt and he has damage. That machine is off the pace a little bit now, and he might lose a few more spots if he's not careful. So Evan Pasoko, in a clutch situation, managed to choke. So tough break there for Evan. He's going to need a caution here if he wants to get back up to speed. I'll see his lap times this time by compared to the 31.1s he was running. This time by, it's just a 31.6. That machine is slow here. So Evan Pasoko does go. He earned his nickname back, Evan. He is officially now Evan Pasoslo again.
I don't know if Evan Pasoslo is the right one. I'd say Evan Pachoklo. Or Evan Pachoko.
I used to call him Evan Pasnoko, and I mean, his last name, there's endless things you can call Evan, but Evan, we can have good funs and games with him, because I know he'll end up watching this and wanting to kick me for calling him all these nicknames, but right now, whatever you want to call him, the Pasoko entry is slowing. He is running lap times about a second slower than everyone else right now, and it's really hurting him. So as Dennis Myers is now going to look to close in on him, and Dalton Alexander has blue skies and beautiful Kansas prairies ahead of him. He's just going to keep pulling away here because he has absolutely no one to challenge him without the Pasoko's machine being near him. And Pasoko, I really think he's trying to feel out his damage here. He might not be as slow as we said. I'm keeping an eye on his lap times here just to make sure that this damage is what's slowing him down. Maybe not a psyche thing. Sometimes when you hit the wall, the damage isn't that bad, but it's more of a psyche thing that slows you down. You think, well, I have damage, I'm slower now, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you're okay, but I think right now it is the damage, not a psyche thing for Evan. He might be sincerely slow, as Tom Bourne and the 24 of Corey Blevins still continue to battle for that 8th position all the way back here. Good battle, been going on for a while. I think Corey is faster. He just cannot find a way around that 16 once again. He's going to have to give it up again.
You know, if you keep talking about the beautiful prairies and whatnot, it's not going to be an iRacing broadcast. It's going to be a philosophical journey to tranquility here on iRacing. Holy cow, Petey, that was deep.
Holy syllables. That's more syllables that I used in the sentence than I probably used in the last year. But no, right now, just really probably one of the more beautiful facilities in iRacing, if you want to talk about it. I know Steve did not mean to initiate this whatsoever, but if you do want to talk about Kansas, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's just in some farm field in the middle of Kansas. I mean, it's surrounded by farmers' fields, and it's really a beautiful place to visit. If you ever have the opportunity to visit Kansas Speedway, I highly recommend it here. And it's one of the fairly newer tracks to the Sprint Cup circuit. Recently, it was added back in 2001, actually 1998. Jeff Gordon won the first ever race here back then, and that was back when Gordon was winning 13 races a season, so that's not very hard to believe. And that was a good job by him, and right now Dalton Alexander looks to follow in his footsteps and win the race here for the Checkered Flag Racing Series, and I really think he has the truck to get done here tonight. It's just if he can keep his machine in front of Pasoko. Pasoko actually ran a lap not faster, but just about as good as Dalton this time by, so I think it was a psyche thing, Steve, and now Evan Pasoko is starting to recover. His biggest issue is after he the wall got into his head for a while, and now he's 2.6 seconds back. He needs a caution, I think.
As we continue on here, 77 laps now on the board. We just have about 50 left. We're going to head off for a quick commercial break. Dalton Alexander started second, and he's led 20 laps here today, so he's looking sporty for the CFI guys and the Essential Elite Racing team. We're going to be right back here on Checkered Flag Interactive. Do not go away. We've got the conclusion of this race in just a few moments.
is Bucky Birt, and you are watching the CFRL Bucky Birt Show 200 from Kansas, live on Checkered Flag Interactive, presented by 24 Designs. Be sure to check out my show on the Bandit Radio Network and visit my website, BuckyBirtRadio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bucky Birt and Bucky Birt Media. Like the show on Facebook by visiting facebook.com/
Back live here at Checkered Flag Interactive as we look at Dennis Myers right now in fourth. The reason we look at him is recently he scraped the wall just the littlest bit, and it gave him a little bit of that odd roof damage. But moving forward a little bit up here in the second position, Evan Pasoko has continued to fall off. He's lost about another 5 seconds since we last left you, and that's quite a bit of time here. I mean, I don't really see this race getting another caution with the amount of drivers left, so he's going to have to really hope for something catastrophic to happen to Dalton Alexander, as Dalton's continuing to fly around this Kansas Speedway. And really looking at Dalton right now, he looks really sporty, no battles on the racetrack. They get about to sixth. And right now, James Silver and Brooks Potts are real close to each other, so that could be a battle that we see happen here soon. But Steve, if Evan's not careful, he will lose even the second position, because he's losing about half a second a lap right now to the leader. He's really slowing down as of the last few laps. I think the damage is really starting to affect the suspension of that truck. It's starting to make the tires get a little bit loose, and his truck is just not handling whatsoever to this point.
Well, another popular theory is I've got a feeling he might have hit a cap maybe somewhere around the track.
Oh no. So, just a little reference there. If you watch a lot of not iSuper Speed, I was reading something on the internet. If you watch a lot of Checkered Flag Interactive broadcasts, please,
Whoa,
please
troubles for the 33. What just happened?
Okay, so I'm looking back at the 33 now, and he hit the outside wall. He tried to do the, I think his screen light froze, Steve. That's not a normal wreck right there.
Yeah, that was gonna be bad, Petey.
If someone was there, that would have been awful. But like I was saying to that, if you watch Checkered Flag Interactive broadcast often, please write in the comments right now where the cat reference is from. Winner, I'll just recognize you if you actually know where that's from. So just write that in the comments. And right now, first pit stop we're seeing on the screen flag stretch. Corey Blevins is bringing his 24 down for service, although he's sitting there for a while. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's going to get a drink or use the restroom or something. That's something that you often have to use here on sim racing, as they don't realize we don't wear fire suits in sim racing where we can just urinate freely and not have to worry about anything. You have to you actually have to get up and use the bathroom, and sometimes in longer races such as this or the Daytona 500s, that can be a pain, and that is an actual issue sim racers go through if you're not a sim racer yourself.
Hey, PD, remember we gotta keep this PG 10-4? Just kidding. Anyhow, looking back, we've still got the 33. After making so hard of a contact with that outside wall, he's still doing a solid job holding off for that fourth position. John Ross is a stone's throw away, but not really gaining much time.
No, he's really not right now. And Dalton Alexander, he's literally the only truck with the exception of Brooks Potts right now with no damage. So I think he might just continue to pull away. I mean, really, he has no contenders whatsoever right now as he continues to pull away. I mean, he is looking really stout right now. I think if the 5 truck in the 96 would have kept himself clean, he might have some competition at this point in time, but unfortunately that was not the case, and now he almost has a 10-second lead here from Las Vegas, and his closest competition, Evan Pasoko, is continuing to fall off really rapidly. The best thing for Evan Pasoko is he continues to fall off rapidly. Michael Fenlinson is also falling off, so Evan really isn't getting caught whatsoever by Fenlinson right now.
Top 5 on your screen: Alexander, Pasoko, Fenlayson, and Dennis Myers in 4th. John Ross rounds out the top 5. And then you've got Brooks Potts in 6th. James Silvers in the Dollar General machine, he is in 7th. Tom Bourne 2 laps down, he is sitting there in 8th. Clint Carr, after being involved in an early accident, in 9th. Corey Blevins, after taking a quick commercial break himself, he is sitting down in 10th. And then the last running car is Scott Ikes for the number 17. And someone was able to catch that reference,
Alright, Steve, so if you can recognize them, because I unfortunately have the comments open right now, but you can recognize them freely.
Well, that was the driver of the number 3, Cody. So somewhere, some way, he knows what we're talking about when it comes to hitting cats on pit road. As Finlayson finds the outside wall almost once again, and I see some smoke, and I'm not sure what's going on, but we've got Scott Ikes is blowing up.
So Scott Eichson blowing up here, and I'm looking at him, and that's just a tough break for him. Scott Eichels is going to have to bring it down pit road here, and hopefully they can put some bubble gum or whatnot on that oil pan to get to stop smoking. iRacing, whenever your motor smokes and doesn't blow, it's actually not that big of a fix for the crews, although 9 out of 10 times you will bring it back on the racetrack, and it will eventually just end up blowing overall, so I think this might deem bad trouble here for Scott Eichels.
Soko just continues to fall off the pace.
Yeah, I'm really looking right now at Dalton Alexander. I think he might actually have a shot at lapping this whole field here in all seriousness. The rate of speed he is going compared to everyone else, if he continues this up, he will end up lapping the whole field before this race is over. So Dalton Alexander on a rail right now. No one can even get within spitting distance of that machine. He is so gone right now. And Dalton, we all know that he has the ability to do it. It's just, can he hold off the bad luck that has really followed him throughout racing series in the past? He has had so much bad luck, and it's always seemed to caught up with him. Could tonight be the night he breaks the curse? Will a late race caution doom him, or can he really just keep his machine out of harm's way and end up bringing it home victory lane? I mean, right now, the only thing that's going to get in his way, if anything, is Dalton Alexander. The only thing that can stop him really is himself right now.
Yeah, right now, what Dalton Alexander needs to do, he needs to stay on his game. He needs to just be careful, because right now he's 20 full amounts in front of Evan for that second position. As long as that CFI sponsored machine just stays clean for the remainder of the race. He's only got 34 laps, 35 laps actually, where he's got to do so. So he just needs to keep it underneath him and stay calm, because it's been a while since Dalton Alexander's been able to take it home in victory lane on a live broadcast. I do believe he came so close a couple of weeks ago in the Upper Edge Racing Series, kind of like, I don't want to call it a sister league, but they're very similar. So he was able to come away second, almost get the win there, but I mean, he's just got to keep it underneath of him here. But we've got a battle that could start to shape up for fourth place.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting here in a couple laps. Looking at Dennis Myers in that 33 up to the third position. He is closing in on Pasoko at a fast rate here, so Pasoko may have a challenger before it's all said and done for the second position, because Dennis Myers right now is closing in on him fast before he knows that he's going to have to race for that second spot. And Dennis, we know he'll continue to close, and looking behind him, Michael Fenlinson is running about the same pace as Pasoko, so we don't know if that will be a battle that shapes up or not. We have to really see how this last pit stop goes, that I assume will happen, although once again, I'm not 100% sure of the fuel run here at Kansas Speedway. We will see if they do come back down pit road, which I really do believe they will, and then that will probably tell the tale of the race here. So right now, with about everyone through about third through fifth closing on Pasoko right now, we'll see if how he responds to that, how he tries to fight him off, and really what he can do right now. The Canadian is doing all he can to keep in front of him, but his truck is just not responding to it. And now Evan Pasoko, I think, is bringing it down pit road this time by. Yes, he is. So Pasoko going to be the first of the leaders to make a green flag pit stop here, Steve, and no one else is going to follow. I think he just needed to get new tires on. The old ones were worn so bad from the damage.
Yeah, most of the drivers are coming down. Brooks Potts, or actually the 64 of John Ross, he barely got down the speed. John Ross is now getting up, or Brooks Potts, I got the names mixed up there. He's heading up off pit road. That truck was clean, now it's not. Dennis Myers and Dalton Alexander still up on the track. And then Evan Pasoko's in his pit stall. The left side goes up. Actually, that's a right side, actually, from the driver's view. And it looks like the 64 missed his pit stall really bad there, Petey, really bad.
That was a really odd stop, and I think Pasoko's getting damage repairs. Caution out on the speedway. What happened, Steve?
Oh,
I see.
Dalton makes the last second moves and yanks it up out of pit road. What a call!
He yeeted it. He yeeted it. He was dedicated to coming out pit road, and then he turned just before that commitment line, and he did it. He is going to be one of only 2 trucks on the lead lap, Steve. And I think it might only be one, because I think he had just lapped the 33, and he has Dalton Alexander is going to be the only truck on the lead lap. He's going to have fresh tires. What a great move for him.
Well, the thing is, he's going to come down pit road, and that's going to allow all of the other drivers to get wave bys that are at least a single lap down, I do believe, Petey. So that will make things a little bit interesting. We'll just have to see how this one shapes up. Not sure what the caution was. No incidents reported on my screen. So
97. That was actually the 97 of Brooks Potts. I saw him around. Don't know the exact issue with him, but I did see the 97 in some trouble. So Dalton Alexander now coming down pit road in his number 98 checkered flag interactive entry, and he's probably going to take 4 tires, fuel, and probably a nice drink of water here, because he is just going to be cruising when they get back going here. So Dalton Alexander now bringing it down pit road, and we'll see what they do to that machine to try to keep it doing what it was doing. He has no complaints over the radio. He's liking it right now, and as he enters a lonely pit road, only truck on the lead lap, he finds his pit stall here, and we're going to see if he takes 4 tires and fuel like everyone else. So right sides are up on that truck, and they're drilling those tires on. Run around to the other side quickly, and they're going to put the left sides on. This has been a really quick stop here for Dalton Alexander. They're going to drop the jack, and he's down and away. And what I think was his quickest stop of the race here, I think the pit crew stepped it up when they really didn't need to, Steve. He could have just relaxed for a little while.
And right now, Dalton is in a great place. But really quick, we're going to get a chance to talk to our race reporter, Michael Finlayson. How you doing, Michael?
Oh, I'm doing decent so far. I've hit the wall about 5 times so far. I've been able to fix it. This crew's been great on pit road, been fast on pit road, and now everybody's caught a lap down. Dalton's the lone wolf, Leader. We're all going to take the wave around this time. Should be good.
That caution could not have really come at a better time for Dalton. He was literally 20 foot from being committed to pit road there.
Yeah, he was talking to me about that. That's pretty exciting.
Alright, well, before we get you back down to your channel, what are your thoughts going into what could be the final run of the race?
Well, this race has been really good so far. It's actually surprised me, and thinking I got a top 3 car, I could finish off in the top 3, and I want to thank all my sponsors again, Fastenal, 5150 Energy, Salt Beverage, and thank Bucky Birt Show for hopping on for this race, and big thank you to 24 Designs for helping out with this league.
Alright, well, good stuff. We are going to toss it off to a quick commercial break, and we'll be bringing you the restart here live on Checkered Flag Interactive. Petey Zeller, Steve Bonesteel up in the booth. back live. We are set and ready for the restart. 107 laps into this race. The whole field just had to take the wave by as Dalton Alexander and only a couple of cars left on the lead lap. Dalton is in prime position right now in the number 98 Checkered Flag Interactive Essentially Gaming Motorsports machine, who will be able to at least make the attempt at knocking Dalton off that top spot. The pace car Brett Bodine says goodbye to the field. I stole your line, Petey, as we are racing yet again at Kansas Motor Speedway. Green flag in the air. Evan Pasoko stuck in the back of the field. Awful restart for him. Who has something for Dalton? We'll just have to see here as we dive down into 1 and 2. The number 10 machine trying to make something happen, but I don't know if he can do much. He's got some damage and Dalton has none.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to be able to do here, Steve, as they continue to race out front. Dalton Alexander with a great restart. His biggest issue is, not his biggest issue. The other guy's biggest issue is Fenlinson and Pasoko are so far behind everyone right now that they're almost already about, well, we'll see this time by how far back they really are. They are actually about 1.5 seconds behind the leader already to start the run. And that's only going to continue to get bigger as they have to pass some of the lap cars. So they're quite a ways behind Dalton Alexander in that 98 machine, and Dalton is continuing to pull away as he's going to be quickly closing on 20 laps to go here from the Kansas Speedway. And with only 3 trucks on the lead lap, I should say right now, Dalton is looking primed to be able to take home the victory here in the Checkered Flag Interactive 98, although don't count your chickens before they're hatched because anything can happen here from the Checkered Flag Racing League. And out front right now, it does look pretty for him, but I wouldn't get too excited if I was him because right now Fenlinson is a very, very good driver. He has a very, very fast truck, although Dalton just ran a 31 flat exactly, fastest lap we've seen from him almost the whole entire race, Steve. That was the second fastest lap of the event.
Finlayson's in that second spot now, and he's almost getting cleared. I do believe he's only got 1 or 2 more trucks until he gets up to Dalton, but 2.5 seconds. Actually, I was really bad on my math and counting skills there, and he's got plenty of work to do still in front of him. And Dalton Alexander, again, after leading 54 laps here tonight, he's got it in the bag as long as he stays in control. 23 laps remaining. No pressure. No pressure.
Better not let the pressure get into him because that's what can happen sometimes. He has to keep it out of that outside wall if he wants to continue to lead this event, although the second and third place truck are so far back, he might even be okay if he tapped it a little bit. So, Dalton, I'm not recommending you tap the wall, but you certainly are okay. He had a connection issue. He was blinked there, but he returned immediately. See, that's what I mean, Steve. Anything can happen here. And a connection issue even could ruin this race for him, although Dalton's pitting is back to an extraordinary great level. 41 it was for a second, so Dalton now out front. And as he's going to come around this time by to the flag stand, he is going to have 21 laps to go, and we are just only about an hour and 10 minutes into this race, so we haven't even been racing for that long. A quick little race here, 113 laps from Las Vegas, we'll see, as really he is just so far ahead of everyone right now. Looking back, 3 seconds now between him and Fenlinson and Pasoko. Pasoko and Fenlinson are about to duel too, so that's really going to do good favors for him. Looking at the battle for 4th and 5th right now, it's a battle between 2 guys 1 lap down, James Silvers and the number 10 of, no, that's James Silvers, the number 64, John Ross right there. Dennis Myers looking at it's a 3-truck battle for the 4th position. They're all 1 lap down, but they're making a good battle out of it.
As the 64 gets the wall, kisses it. Remember, guys, you better get to know the wall before you take it out on a date, man. Great
analogy there by Steve. I mean, that's one of the things you will see here. You really do have to keep it out of the wall in all seriousness, though, because it will eat up your truck. You can ask Evan Pasoko about that one there. So, poor Evan has took another shot on him, but it's okay, bud. You gave it your all tonight as he tries to catch down Finlinson. And Finlinson right now doing a great job starting to pull away a little bit from Pasoko. As the run goes on, the tires get worn more on Pasoko's machine, so they're going to get eat up quite a little bit more. And I think he's going to fall off here, and Finlayson might be in prime position to finish in second. But right now, Dalton Alexander is continuing to pull away. So Dalton in the lead right now, as we just have under 20 laps to go in this race. It's really all up in the air for everything besides the win right now. All the other positions are highly contended here late in this event.
Hearing the comments in from the fans right now, John Lemon, big-time fan of Checkered Flag Interactive, and of course, co-owner at Essential Elite Gaming, and branching off to the console side of things. He is amazed. When I said Dalton Alexander's leading, he says, "What? What? Dalton's leading?" Yes, sir, Dalton's finally leading.
Yeah, it's almost like Dale Earnhardt, 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Can he possibly do it? Who knows? So we're watching these guys go at it, and it's really a lot of fun right now. I mean, all these guys are just doing a fantastic job. So, I mean, it's all the battles except like the lead, like I said, are going to be a good one. And right now, as Clint Carr on the outside takes that position away from Tom Bounce, that was a battle for position. Clint finally on a lap with someone else. He's going to try to get it done here, as he will. So Clint Carr taking another position back, looking further. They have a whole line of cars, but they're battling for a whole bunch of different positions. And right now, James Silvers is in the 4th position. That right now is leading the pack with the exception of Dalton Alexander. So he's pulling away from Dennis Myers. The battle for second raging up a little bit. Pasoko continues to close in on Finlayson. And we will see what happens there as these laps continue to wind down.
As it's actually, there's a slight battle for position. Pasoko and Finlayson, they're the fast and all machines going up against the LSRTV machine as he almost gets up into the wall there. Pasoko does. He will keep that machine down off of the wall, but these guys are going at it as Pasoko jumps down the inside line. He's going to try his hand at taking away that position here in that machine, but he's gonna run out of momentum pretty quickly there on the inside line. As I don't know what I just did. I just kind of went Spanish there for a second, but he hits the wall, Finlayson does, and he tries to use it as a crossover, but he won't have enough momentum to keep that machine going rapido.
So Steve with his best Spanish impression there. Dalton Alexander, he's pulling away right now, and the New Yorkian, by no means Spanish, is doing a great job leading this race. So Dalton right now, I mean, looking back, here we go, battle for, actually that's not a battle for position. For a second I thought that was Mike Finlayson, but it isn't. Pasoko being clear. Finlayson obviously is now on the bumper of Brooks Potts, trying to put him a lap down to Evans' favor. And now here we go, battle for the 5th position. James Silver to the inside of John Ross, and John Ross is going to clear James Silver on the outside, and Silver had to check up, so no run for him. And that's really something that we haven't seen anyone do a whole lot tonight. So great job there by him, and now he's going to have to fight for more position, because here comes the number 64 of John Ross, Dennis Myers, that is, I'm sorry, through the 4th position. And wow, what some great racing going on here right now. These guys are going at it late in the race, and for the final spot in the top 5, James Silver versus the 64 of John Ross. They're going at it. They're going ham right now. That's the best way I can put it. And with just almost this time by 10 laps to go for the leader, Dalton Alexander, with a 6.5 second lead. Just don't do the Evan Pachokso here, in the words of Steve Bonesteel.
He's still sitting out in front of the field. He's got 6.5 seconds now. What is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah, what is he doing right now? He's just kind of, I don't know, he's kind of taking it out of the line a little bit, way up high against the wall. I mean, he got really close a couple of times there, and Dalton is going to come by this time. Good lap time, and behind him, another truck looking to get a position taken away. is John Ross. I mean, James Silver doesn't look like he wants to give up, but Evan Pasoko is flying right now. I think he's too far back to possibly catch Dalton, but Pasoko, whatever issues he had earlier, right now, he's fixed them. He is the second fastest truck on the track right now to that number 98 of Alexander, and Evan Pasoko really is just flying around the speedway right now, not even a contender even for anyone near him, and Evan Pasoko is really just trying to put these last few trucks lap down so Fenlinson cannot even have a chance to pass him once more.
8 laps remaining, and the gap's at 7.5 seconds now, and Pasoko really does not have a way, unless he's doing a second faster each and every lap, Petey. I really don't see if he's got anything. I mean, Dalton's even got that push to pass NOS in that machine, that nitrous oxide, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to get done. I think it was the nitrous oxide here, and once again, the Americans beat the Canadians. It's something that's not hockey. I just want to point that out. If Dalton can hold on that, it will be another incident of that. I like to mess around with Evan. Like I said, him and his hockey stick shifted machine laps another machine, and Evan looking to find another truck to put a lap down. But Dalton Alexander right now has clear tracks and Kansas prairies in front of him to find his way to victory lane if he can just hang on for another 5 laps this time by. 5 to go for Dalton Alexander, and what an effort it has been for the 98 Checkered Flag Interactive crew. And he's looking to get done here at Kansas Speedway. Interesting note, this race here, Sprint Cup race, has sparked a lot of controversy for what's going to be this coming May, whenever they have the Sprint Cup race here. It's going to be called the SpongeBob SquarePants 400, Steve. So that is, I've seen a lot about that on Facebook, and that's it's kind of spiking more controversy than I would have expected for something so simple and innocent.
Yeah, but no SpongeBob here today. It's just Dalton Alexander trying to do the best that he can out in front of the field. And, you know, you gotta hand it to him, as we've talked about it all night long. It's hard to really say about much anything else right now, as it's just impressive to see someone be able to step out. And it's not the fact that he's been faster than the field that I'm impressed by. It's the fact that he's stayed off of the outside wall.
It really is. We've only seen him have one small little brush with it, and really right now he is doing all he can to lead this race, and by I mean all he can. He is just pulling away, so Dalton Alexander doesn't really need to do all he can, but he's still doing it because he's by far the fastest truck in the track right now. I think he's just doing it for swag points right now, in the words of some great commentators out there, specifically Evan Pasoko. So we're watching him pull away, and Dalton now with just 3 laps to go here from Kansas Speedway. He knows he has the checkered flag in sight. This time by 2 laps to go for that 98 machine. Can he bring it home in one piece? And will Dalton Alexander hang on? He has a 10-second lead, Steve. It's going to be really hard to mess this thing up.
Pasoko 10 seconds back as he crosses the line for 2 to go. Finlayson in 3rd. He is 11 seconds back. Dennis Myers a lap down in 4th. John Ross another lap down in 5th. James Silver in 10th, or in 6th in the number 10 machine. Clint Carr is in 7th in the number 524 Designs machine. And then Brooks Potts is in 8th as Dalton crosses the line for the final lap. Tom Bourne and Corey Blevlins round out the field.
Right now, down the backstretch, what a run it has been for the 98 of Dalton Alexander. And he has survived 3 and 4, and he can take home his first ever checkered flag here in the Checkered Flag Racing Series. And what a race it has been, and I'm sure a meaningful one for Dalton Alexander. Through turns 3 and 4, down to the stripe. Here from Kansas Speedway, Dalton Alexander wins the big one at Kansas. Give it to the 98.
Now he better cherish this moment very fondly, because this one is a very important one, not only for Dalton Alexander, but for Checkered Flag Interactive, Essential Elite Racing. We're getting things kicked off over the next few weeks. NIS Open, of course, A Open, the main focus, and here tonight getting some momentum kicked off, at least for him and on the league racing side, and he's going to come away with a victory. Beautiful paint scheme, also painted by Dan Yelius, a pilot, many know him by, elite pilot from Steam, and really just coming away with this victory from Checkered Flag Interactive and the guys at the Checkered Flag Racing League.
So, great job for him. We're going to get to see Dalton Alexander burn it down, and when he's finally done celebrating, we'll get a chance to get a word in with him here. So Dalton Alexander is coming up to the flag stand. You just got to talk about what this does for him in points. It's going to be a great points night for him, and a great confidence booster. Dalton Alexander getting the W here, as he's going to burn him down. Dalton Alexander celebrating his win here from Kansas, and he's going to, I'm sure, cherish this moment for a while as he does his first single donut.
Hey, Dalton and Steve and Petey up in the booth. When you're all done with your donuts, make sure it's special, by the way, like I said earlier. Clip the replay so you can send it to me for any of our promotional purposes, but what does this win mean for you here tonight?
Well, it means a hell of a lot. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
We apologize for the profanity expressed to Dalton Alexander.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry, I forgot.
He's just so excited he couldn't help it but kiss that outside wall. Well,
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm happy that I could do this for CFI, and
be broadcasted and everything.
I'm just very excited. Hopefully, I can go way back up 2 points.
The excitement is so real right now out of Dalton Alexander, but who made it happen for you tonight other than Checkered Flag Interactive?
Whoever made this track make it so the high line's really good, I'd like to thank them, because I was really good. I also, obviously, I gotta thank you. I gotta thank Mike Finlayson for hosting this series.
Might be a good idea to change it.
I gotta thank, let's see, I gotta thank my buddy Jeff for not complaining when I had to leave. And then I gotta, you obviously, you know, I can't say it enough.
Well, good stuff. You even parked it down in pit lane. Remember, I want that victory burnout clipped and sent to me by the morning so I can do something up with that, and congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
I do believe you've caught up with Mike Finlayson down on pit road, Petey.
I have caught up with our third place finisher here, and Mike, what a race for you! You brought it home from here from the Kansas Speedway in the third position. How did you manage to do it here, and what was a spectacular event?
Yeah, it was a pretty fun race to be driving in. Got a third place finish like I would think I was going to get. I hit a wall about a lot of times, and surprised I got home third. It was a pretty good race. Working hard all day on pit road, pretty good pit stops, and that was a pretty good race on the track.
So, Mike, what's this do for you and confidence and points moving forward in this season? Do you think you have a good shot at possibly getting up there in the top 3 in points and maybe challenging for a title or whatnot?
Yeah, I really do think I can do that. This team's been so far this season, and I'm starting to get top 5 finishes every week, which has been good for me, and there's a lot of good guys up front in points right now, so it'll be a good rest of the season for us.
All right, now you're looking forward to next week. Do you think you'll have a good truck there as well?
Yeah, we're going to have a setup for everybody next week, and I think it'll be a good setup for everybody, and I think we'll have pretty good chances. It's a short track. It's one of my favorite tracks on the schedule.
All right, before I let you go, who do you got to thank? Who makes it happen for you and your team?
I got to thank all my members from Upper Edge Racing on my team, Wenzel Motorsports, Fastenal, 5150 Energy, Sensol Beverage, CFI for doing this broadcast for us. Pretty good race overall.
That was our third place finisher, Mike. Congratulations on the run and good luck next time.
I have now caught up with Evan Paselko, making the little bit of an impromptu appearance here tonight in the CFRL. How was the night out there in your LSR TV number 13?
Well, I was looking for like a top 10 or something. We did practice last night. We had about 9 cars in there, so about half the field, and I got third. So I'm like, okay, we might be able to challenge for like a 6th or a 7th. I mean, we did okay in qualifying. The start of the race was garbage. We got stuck down low, and then we came into a line and essentially got like run over there. And we did not have the winning truck, which is why I'm not as disappointed as I would be. The only way we would have won that is if we blocked the everything you could, I guess you'll say, out of that 98. And I don't do league races. Like, I've only done a league race, about 130 laps, something like that, like twice. So again, I would have been happy with the top 10, but I guess I'll take the top 2. It helps the team out, which is the reason I was here, to help them get team points. I know Clint Carr, the 5 car, he was going to be probably the fastest car for our CT3 Motorsports, and he had trouble, so I did my job.
Well, you sure did. Explain what it was like out there on the track for someone that doesn't always get out here, especially with leagues. What was it like to get in the experience? Do you think you'll find yourself doing something like this again sometime soon?
Well, I'm happy to say that I was able to kind of run with Dalton there for a little bit. On the first run, I caught up to him, and then we got a caution. So I think we were a little bit better on the longer run at the start, and then we drove it harder in the front because he was putting pressure on us. But I said it again. I've only ever done, I think, one of the broadcast races on a 1.5. I've done some short track stuff, but I didn't finish that one out well. But I still ran competitive, and I said you really get a lot more, I guess, respect for the guys that come out here and they run these longer races, especially Kansas, because that is brutal going up against the fence. And I was listening to the broadcast too, and I hit the fence there, and the car nearly spun out the last lap, and then I knocked off the wall. I hit it on exit, which nobody else was doing. Everybody else was hitting it in the middle of the corner. The car just went away on exit, and we were dropping like a second a lap. Caution fell at a very bad time. If we stayed out like one more lap, we could have been there. But definitely, again, and I say it every time, and every time I race one of these, I'll say it again, but every time you do it, you get more respect for the guys that race. I'd call one, though, after having to, go through that for an hour and a half any day.
10-4 can hear you on that one. Who do you have to thank for making it happen here tonight at Kansas Motor Speedway?
I have to thank Corey Velvis and the CT3 Motorsports guys for extending the invitation to me to come and fill for them. Kansas, I do not like this track at all. I haven't done a race on a 1.5 in iRacing in so long. I mean, I haven't raced at all in like 4 months, but so I put 24designs.com on the car. Me and Corey do some of that stuff on Facebook, so search facebook.com and 24 Designs, a lot of Jeff Gordon graphic stuff as well. Livesimracing.com on the car, Checkered Flag Interactive there, driversedge.org. But it was fun coming out. I don't know if you'll see me out here again. Again, it was more of a backup role. I feel like if we were at a track like a Charlotte or a Vegas, I might have maybe expected to do a little bit better. But I want to thank everybody for letting me have this opportunity, and I'll be up in the air-conditioned booth next week.
Sounds good. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Petey, I do believe that will wrap things up from Pit Road and Kansas Motor Speedway here tonight. What were your thoughts going into this race? Charlie Ryan, our oval consultant, always coming up in the booth, sitting down at his desk just as we get ready to leave. What are your thoughts as Kansas on iRacing as a whole? And what do you think is the biggest thing that drivers experienced here tonight?
Well, of course, I'm a bit biased with this, but I love Kansas. I love any track where the fast line is nothing but a millimeter off the wall. So, I mean, for me as a driver, I mean, there's something about racing within that margin of like a 6-inch error. Like in most tracks, you run the bottom, so I mean, you have that buffer, but you have to be almost perfect when you run out there. And I mean, when you hit it right, it's just crazy fast. But like I said, I'm biased. I love running the outside line.
Well, looking at some of the other tracks, do you think there's any tracks on iRacing that even comes close to comparing to Kansas? Or
I mean, for the speed and the way you run the track, I really can't think of one. But as far as like the way the line typically works, I think the closest comparison, honestly, would be Bristol and how you run the outside line.
I definitely agree with you there on that one. So, well, with that being said, Petey, Charlie, and all the guys at the Checkered Flag Racing League, we are going to sign off for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in here live tonight. It was a great race, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
This is Bucky Birt, and you are watching the CFRL Bucky Birt Show 200 from Kansas, live on Checkered Flag Interactive, presented by 24 Designs. Be sure to check out my show on the Bandit Radio Network and visit my website, BuckyBirtRadio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Bucky Birt and Bucky Birt Media. Like the show on Facebook by visiting Facebook.com/Bucky Birt Show. Now enjoy the race and go Corey Blevins.